Hey everybody, so today we are going to continue being in sort of the book of Daniel. This is going to be the Apocrypha, so this is the works that were supposed to be attributed to the book of Daniel but were left out during the many councils of the church that decided what to keep in the Bible and what not to keep in the Bible. And this is going to be the history or the story of Susanna, set apart from the beginning of Daniel because it is not in Hebrew, as neither the narration of Bel and the Dragon. So these were not written in Hebrew. They were probably written in the Aramaic language. Or could have even been a different language entirely, Babylonian, perhaps. And so we are going to read this together, and again, this story is going to be a little triggering for some people that have gone through maybe some similar life experiences, but we will see how God helps her in the end. So we're going to read it now. There dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Helcias, a very fair woman, and one that feared the Lord. Her parents also were righteous, and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. Now Joachim was a great rich man, and had a fair garden joining unto his house. And to him resorted the Jews, because he was more honorable than all others. The same year were appointed two of the ancients of the people to be judges, such as the Lord spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon from ancient judges, who seemed to govern the people. These kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them. So in these first six verses, what we have is this woman named Susanna. She was the daughter of this man named Helcias. She looked very beautiful, and she was righteous. She obeyed the laws of Moses, and in all respects, she was doing the right thing. And we see these two judges. They're coming into the land here. Verse 7. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. And the two elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed after her, or toward her, it says. And they perverted their own mind, and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments. And albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet durst not one shew another his grief. For they were ashamed to declare their lust that they desired to have to do with her. Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her. And the one said to the other, Let us now go home, for it is dinner time. So when they were gone out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place. And after that they had asked one another the cause. They acknowledged their lust, then appointed they a time both together, when they might find her alone. Okay, so in these passages what we see is both of them had this lust that was inflamed in them after they saw her going into this garden. And we'll eventually see why. Because here all we saw is that she's just walking in this garden. We're like, why would they lust after her? Maybe she was just really beautiful. We'll see in a minute. But the interesting thing is they were like, hey, we're going to go to dinner. We're going to leave. And then they come back and they're like, what are you doing here? And they're like, yeah, like I liked this girl and she's out here just, she's walking along in this garden. Verse 15, And it fell out as they watched a fit time, she went in as before with two maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot. Okay, now we're getting there. And there was nobody there save the two elders that had hid themselves and watched her. Like, God, we got peeping Toms here. So then she said to her maids, verse 17, "Bring me oil and washing balls, or bales, washing bales, and shut the garden doors, that I may wash me." Okay? So she's like, "Hey, bring me some stuff. I gotta get washed up." And they did as she bade them, and shut the garden doors, and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders, because they were hidden. Now when the maids were gone forth, the two elders rose up and ran unto her, saying, "Behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore consent unto us, and lie with us. If thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee, that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee." Then Susanna sighed and said, "I am straitened on every side, for if I do this thing, it is death unto me, and if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands. It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it, than to sin in the sight of the Lord." With that, Susanna cried with a loud voice, and the two elders cried out against her. Then ran the one and opened the garden door. So when the servants of the house heard the cry in the garden, they rushed in at a privy door to see what was done unto her. But when the elders had declared their matter, the servants were greatly ashamed, for there was never such a report made of Susanna. And it came to pass the next day, when the people were assembled to her husband Joachim, the two elders came also, full of mischievous imagination against Susanna, to put her to death, and said before the people, "Send for Susanna, the daughter of Celsius, Joachim's wife." And so they sent. So she came with her father and mother, her children, and all her kindred. Now Susanna was a very delicate woman, and beauteous to behold. So we're going to stop there for a minute. So what we have is this woman, she goes to her garden, and she's just trying to bathe herself. And then these two elders just, they're inflamed with this lust, right? And it's not love, it's lust. They're perverted, their minds are wicked, they're just hell-bent focused on trying to sleep with this woman who's just taking a bath. And now they're elevating it to this court system. They're saying, all right, well, since she didn't want to do this, we're going to bear false witness against her. All right, and right here in verse 31, it does say that she was a very delicate woman and beauteous to behold. So she did have a measurable quality of beauty, but the problem with this is there's lust and then there's love, right? There's a difference between the two. Verse 32, "And these wicked men commanded to uncover her face, for she was covered, that they might be filled with her beauty." So she was obviously wearing a veil during this time, and likely so because she was married, right? And therefore her friends and all that saw her wept. Then the two elders stood up in the midst of the people, and laid their hands upon her head. And she, weeping, looked up towards heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. And the elders said, "As we walked in the garden alone, this woman came in with two maids, and shut the garden doors, and sent the maids away. Then a young man who there was hid came unto her, and laid with her. Then we that stood in a corner of the garden, seeing this wickedness, ran unto them. And when we saw them together, the man we could not hold, for he was stronger than we, and opened the door, and leapt out. But having taken this woman, we asked who the young man was, but she would not tell us. These things do we testify." Then the assembly believed them, as those that were the elders and judges of the people, so they condemned her to death. So this is a serious issue. This woman's about to be stoned for literally no reason. Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice, and said, "O everlasting God, that knowest the secrets, and knowest all things before they be, thou knowest that they have borne false witness against me, and behold, I must die, whereas I never did such things as these men have maliciously invented against me." And the Lord heard her voice. Therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit of a young youth, whose name was Daniel, who cried with a loud voice, "I am clear fro the blood of this woman." Then all the people turned them towards him and said, What mean these words that thou hast spoken? So he, standing in the midst of them, said, Are ye such fools, ye sons of Israel, that without examination or knowledge of the truth ye have condemned a daughter of Israel? Return again to the place of judgment, for they have borne false witness against her. Wherefore all the people turned again in haste. And the elders saith unto him, Come sit down among us, and shew it us, seeing God hath given thee the honor of an elder. Then said Daniel unto them, Put these two aside, one far from another, and I will examine them. So he had to separate the two to get the true conviction. So when they were put asunder one from another, he called one of them, and said unto him, O thou that art waxen old in wickedness, now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light. For thou hast pronounced false judgment, and hast condemned the innocent, and hast let the guilty go free. Albeit the Lord saith, The innocent and righteous shalt thou not slay. Now then, if thou hast seen her, tell me, under what tree sawest thou them companying together? Who answered, Under a mastic tree. And Daniel said, Very well, thou hast lied against thine own head, for even now the angel of God hath received the sentence of God to cut thee in two. So he put him aside, and he commanded to bring the other, and said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan, and not of Judah, beauty hath deceived thee, and lust hath perverted thine heart. Thus have ye dealt with the daughters of Israel, and they for fear companied with you, but the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness. Now therefore tell me, under what tree didst thou take them companying together? Who answered, Under a holm tree. Then said Daniel unto him, Well, thou hast also lied against thine own head, for the angel of God waiteth with the sword to cut thee in two, that he may destroy you. With that all the assembly cried out with a loud voice, and praised God, who saveth them that trust in him. And they arose against the two elders, for Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth. And according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they maliciously intended to do to their neighbor, and they put them to death. Thus the innocent blood was saved the same day. Therefore Celsius and his wife praised God for their daughter Susanna, with Joachim her husband, and all the kindred, because there was no dishonesty found in her. From that day forth was Daniel had in great reputation in the sight of the people. So we have this wonderful story about a young Daniel here, and he actually saves this woman from not just rape, but also death, right? And the interesting thing that we see here is there's a lot of qualities of division, separation, and the separate kind of polarities, right? We have lust, we have love, we have false witness and true conviction. We have all of these different separations, and then we have them having to be separated to have them testify from their own mouth. And this is kind of taken just from the same kind of court case that Solomon had, because I don't know if you remember, but there was a court case that Solomon had to endure where there was a woman who claimed that she had a son, and then there was another lady that had a son, and they were both claiming that the baby was theirs, and Solomon was like, all right, well, we'll just rip the baby in half and give each one of you one of the halves. And the power behind Solomon's discretion wasn't necessarily that he wanted to rip the baby in half, right? He was trying to get an emotional reaction as to the conviction of the true witness. And so the one who cried obviously had more emotional capacity to love the child than the other one that said, okay, just rip him in half and give him to both of us. And so likewise, Daniel had to separate the two elders and ask them, all right, well, if she did what you're saying she did, what tree did they do this under? And they're like, oh, it was a mastic tree. Oh, it was a home tree. Well, obviously not, because if y'all both saw them, you would have said the same tree, right? And so this is a cool lesson in justice in the Apocrypha. It's understandable that they would leave this out because it is, once again, a rape story. And it also holds a lot of conviction for women and for men who might be in similar positions. And so I thought that was an interesting story. And the next story we're going to get into is Bel and the Dragon, which was also cut off from the end of Daniel. And so we'll talk about that next. I hope y'all have a blessed day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.